building on President Donald Trump's 2017 decision to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital and relocate the US embassy there. Yesterday marked a significant moment in history. Representatives from both countries attended the formal signing ceremony for the land allocation agreement for the construction of the permanent United States Embassy compound in Jerusalem. This move highlights the symbolic alliance between Israel and the US, with a new embassy site in the Allenby compound intended as a long-term, irreversible commitment. Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar opened the event by highlighting the milestone as a deepening of the unbreakable alliance between Israel and America.
Today here in Jerusalem, we mark another milestone in the unbreakable alliance between Israel and the United States. President Trump's historic decision in 2017 to move the embassy to Jerusalem set the record straight. And today, with the agreement to begin building a permanent embassy complex, that decision becomes even deeper and more enduring. Friends, today we are signing the agreement for the allocation of the land for the construction of the permanent United States Embassy complex in Jerusalem, the eternal capital of Israel. The new site is located in the Allenby compound in Jerusalem and will be allocated for the embassy in accordance with the decision of the government of Israel on this matter. But this agreement is more than a transfer of land. It is a statement that recognizes history and a statement about building the future. We can talk about values, we can talk about freedom and liberty, values that we share and have fought side by side to defend. We can talk about how 250 years ago, Americans, founding fathers, drew inspiration from the biblical forefathers. But alongside our shared values, there is a great strategic asset in the bond between our countries. And this agreement is just another clear message to our enemies. The bond between Israel and the United States is stronger than ever, stronger than any threat. And because of these decisions, other nations followed. They wouldn't do that otherwise. I began my time here as foreign minister with 5 embassies in Jerusalem. We are now up to 8.
Describing the moment as planting the American flag on soil that recognizes the city as the eternal indigenous capital of the Jewish people, US Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee stated during the ceremony. He called the embassy a beacon of light and enduring friendship. The new facility will serve as the primary purpose-built permanent home for the US Embassy in Israel. It will serve as a long-term diplomatic hub to deepen and expand Washington's presence in Jerusalem, better serve the large American community in Israel, and act as a visible symbol of the enduring partnership between the two nations.
I cannot tell you how personally delighted I am to be able to represent the President of the United States and the people of America in being able to come today to make a permanent and forever decision that the United States not only recognizes Jerusalem as the eternal, indigenous, and forever capital of the Jewish people, but also that the United States says that we're going to do something about it, not just by recognizing it openly and verbally, but we're going to plant our flag, our American flag, on the soil of Jerusalem for a permanent and a brand new embassy compound that will serve as our mothership of diplomatic activities here in Israel. We want it to be a beacon of light for the partnership that we enjoy with the people of Israel. It is an extraordinary partnership that started on May the 14th of 1948, when 11 minutes after Israel declared its independence, President Harry S. Truman signed a letter that recognized Israel as the Jewish state. That was not a small thing, because it meant that the power and the influence of the United States said openly to the world, we stand with Israel. In my office at the temporary embassy, I have framed that letter from Harry Truman. It's not the original, let me be clear. It's a copy, but it's an important one, and it's always on my wall. It's a reminder that I serve and represent a country that has never wavered in its understanding that Israel is not only the home for the Jewish state, but it is a partner to the people of America.
Moving on to the United Kingdom, as tensions continue to mount over immigration in Europe, the UK Home Office announced plans to house over 1,000 asylum seekers at the Old RAF Barnham military base in Suffolk, Eastern England. But due to concerns from locals in the community, the West Suffolk Council held an urgent meeting wherein all the councillors voted unanimously to support a motion opposing the plan. The local council will now address the matter with the Home Office, placing pressure on the national government, which may lead to changes, delays, or a different site. Many praised the action from the local council, stating on social media that it's time for real action in protecting their areas.
Barnham is a quintessential Suffolk village. At the 2021 census, our population was just 584 people. It's a small rural community whose character has been shaped over generations. Our concerns are not simply about the principle of asylum accommodation, but about the process, the suitability of the site, and the scale of the change being proposed. Residents first became aware that something was happening when works began at RAF Barnham. West Suffolk Council then sought clarification from the Home Office and was told that RAF Barnham was not among the sites under consideration. Yet within days, national media were contacting us ahead of an embargoed announcement. At no point were our MPs, county councillors, district councillors, or parish council formally informed. That is not meaningful consultation. It is not transparency. Decisions of this scale should not arrive as a surprise to the communities expected to live with them. We recognise the government's objective of reducing the use of hotels for asylum accommodation. However, replacing unsuitable hotels with an equally unsuitable rural military site is not a sustainable option. The scale of this proposal is also wholly disproportionate. The Home Office proposes to accommodate up to 1,250 single adult male asylum seekers adjacent to a village of 584 residents.
Marking the 1st of July yesterday meant that the rotating presidency of the Council of the European Union was handed to the succeeding country for the next 6 months. Ireland assumed this role, marking its 8th time to do so. Through this new appointment, it means that the country will chair most of the council meetings, set agendas, and broker compromises between the 27 member states, but does not hand over the entire EU to Dublin. Critics argue that the presidency ties Ireland more deeply into EU structures, potentially forcing compromises on Irish interests.
As presidency, we will work to safeguard the core values on which the European Union is built: freedom, democracy, equality, the rule of law, and respect for human rights and dignity. We will also work with others to make sure that Europe's children are safe online. We will, of course, and as I will affirm when I meet President Zelensky later today, continue to stand with Ukraine. In addition to supporting Ukraine in every way we can, we also need to increase pressure on Russia so that the cost of prosecuting its illegal war becomes unsustainable. Sanctions are an important part of this task, and we will work with partners during our presidency to strengthen our regime. During our term, we will also be working to bring all those countries looking to join the Union, including Ukraine, closer to that goal. We want to extend the benefits of prosperity and stability in our neighbourhood. We will work to strengthen the European Union's role as a principled global actor, including promoting active engagement and support of lasting peace and security in the Middle East. We will seek to strengthen the European Union's relationship with our partners around the world, including our nearest neighbours in the United Kingdom and across the Atlantic in the United States. For the European Union to meet the ambitions of its citizens in the years to come, it needs a budget equal to the task. We will work with President Costa to advance negotiations on the next multi-annual budget, ideally to secure agreement by the end of the year.
Stay tuned to any of our Love World networks to stay updated with all the latest breaking news. And now moving on to more updates from around the globe. Ahead of the NATO summit in Ankara next week, the Secretary-General Mark Rutte met with German Chancellor Friedrich Merz during a German cabinet session at the Ministry of Defense in Berlin. Merz highlighted their plans to reach 3.5% of GDP in their defense spending by 2029, strengthen their military reserve, and improve emergency preparedness. He further emphasized the need for Europe to take on greater responsibility within NATO to reduce over-reliance on the United States, while still maintaining strong transatlantic cooperation.
I had the honor today to join the meeting of the Cabinet, the engine of a government that is powering ahead on defence spending. Germany is on track to invest 3.5% of GDP in defence by 2029. And that's an extraordinary achievement. It takes political courage, resolve and conviction to do this. Increasing defence investment means making tough decisions. But it is the right thing to do when we face a more dangerous world. The summit next week will focus on turning extra spending into combat-ready capabilities and significantly scaling up our defence industries. Germany is an industrial powerhouse with major defence companies and world-class research institutions. NATO's message to industry across the alliance is clear. Be ready, speed up, work together. Open new production lines, expand supply chains and deliver quickly what we need to our security. Deterrence is built in factories as much as it is projected by our armed forces. NATO is and will always be a transatlantic alliance, but we need to rebalance it for the better, as you already said, Friedrich. Working closely with the United States, European allies and Canada are taking greater responsibility for conventional defence in Europe.
Russian trampoline gymnasts who were set to compete in the 2026 Trampoline Gymnastics World Cup this week was informed by the Portuguese organizers that Russians would only be allowed to participate in neutral status after banning the use of the Russian flag and their anthem. Similarly, over the past weekend at the Rhythmic Gymnastics World Challenge Cup in Romania, the gymnasts faced similar rhetoric, despite the International Gymnastics Federation lifting restrictions earlier in the year, allowing full national symbols. Both teams chose to withdraw from the competition, with Russia's Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova calling it another example of blatant abuse and politicization of international sport. This follows recent events in Switzerland, China, Azerbaijan, and Georgia, where the athletes had competed without controversy. And the Kremlin has officially confirmed that the Russian government is in negotiations with foreign nations to import gasoline and petroleum products. This is an unprecedented move for Russia, which is historically one of the world's largest oil exporters. Due to the sustained Ukrainian strategic attacks on Russian energy infrastructure, Moscow faces severe degradation of its ability to refine oil into usable fuel. In April and May this year alone, there were 26 documented strikes on refineries. These strikes have forced several major refineries to halt or reduce operations for repairs, creating a bottleneck where crude oil exists but cannot be processed into gasoline or diesel fast enough to meet domestic demand. Russian Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov stated that these attempts to destabilize their fuel market will not achieve their intended goals.
You are aware that President held a meeting on Sunday regarding the situation in the country's fuel sector. Everyone has seen the President's statement on this matter. There is a government working group, or commission, call it what you will, led by. In fact, Novak handles these issues on a daily basis, working closely and manually managing the process. Both the President's and Novak's daily meetings focus on a range of measures to stabilize the fuel market.
At the meeting on Sunday, the President instructed, among other things, that we should work out the import of petroleum products. But is there any understanding of which countries this import could be arranged from?
For obvious reasons, we will not comment on this. Discussions are ongoing. If agreement is reached on acceptable prices, the imports will go ahead. This would be another step towards stabilizing the market and is intended to curb panic-driven demand.
And now we'll be going for a short break. Stay tuned as we bring you more global developments.
There are moments in life that are too big to miss. Moments that change everything. With the journey taking us far and wide, we end up miles apart from the ones we love. Yet, even in those times, we find ways to be together. Because when a moment is truly important, distance becomes nothing but a number. Use King's Conference and let your influence span the globe. With 1,000 participants in a single room, there's no telling how far your message can go.
Marking her first official visit to India as Prime Minister, Japan's Sanae Takaichi is on a 3-day official visit to participate in the 16th India-Japan Annual Summit, where she is holding bilateral talks with her counterpart, Narendra Modi. The visit aims to enhance trade and economic cooperation and deepen security partnerships between the two countries. For India, the visit reinforces its position as a key strategic partner for Tokyo, while for Japan, it solidifies New Delhi as an indispensable ally to diversify supply chains, counterbalance regional threats, and promote a free and open Indo-Pacific.
India is the very place where The vision of today's free and open Indo-Pacific was born. Today, as the world enters in an era of profound challenges marked by the rise of protectionism, economic coercion, and growing geopolitical tensions, it has become essential to strengthen regional autonomy and resilience. With this in mind, in May this year, I proposed a further revolution of FOIP founded on the ground principles of growing stronger and more prosperous together. This vision, centered on the twin principles of autonomy and resilience, also resonates deeply with Prime Minister Modi's Mahasagar initiative. As the two leading democracies supporting the region, Japan and India will further deepen their cooperation to uphold the rule of law, stand firm against every form of coercion, safeguard freedom, create prosperity, and together shape the future. Among the many areas of cooperation, energy security is one of the most important area at the recent G7 summit. I presented three proposals to strengthen energy security, ensuring free and transparent energy trade, enhancing strategic energy stockpiles, and promoting cooperation between producing and consuming countries. Through the Power Asia initiative, we are working to translate this vision into concrete action to ensure going forward Japan and India will jointly strengthen regional energy security through new areas of cooperation, including enhanced petroleum stockpiling. This initiative is founded upon that very vision.
The toy company Lego has revealed its true colors when during the month of June it posted content on its official social media channels celebrating LGBTQ themes. The promotions featured Lego products, rainbow-colored bricks, and messaging about diversity and inclusion, aimed at families to have conversations about sexual orientation and gender identity. However, the company faces severe criticism, with many parents, critics, and conservative voices arguing that Lego is shifting from innocent toys to tools of indoctrination, stating that the rainbow-themed content undermines traditional family values. Parents reference scripture from the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse 6, which states that one should train up a child in the way he should go, that when he is old, he will not depart from it, arguing that corporations should not interfere in parental responsibility for moral information. And in the spirit of celebrating America 250, during a little presidential outing, President Trump flew aboard the new Air Force One to North Dakota on Wednesday, where he toured the Theodore Roosevelt Presidential Library. He also took a ride on the historic Heritage Train, connecting with Roosevelt's legacy of exploration, conservation, and American individualism. The president also interacted with an AI-powered exhibit featuring the likeness and voice of former President Theodore Roosevelt. The AI Teddy offered President Trump a piece of timeless advice, encouraging him to put America first, protect the nation's land, and stand strong against those who would weaken her. The Roosevelt Library, which opened in recent years, serves as a major cultural and educational center dedicated to preserving the legacy of the nation's 26th president.
Do you consider the Panama Canal your greatest achievement?
Well. Right then, yes. The canal stands as one of my proudest battles, no question. But greatness is a strange thing. It isn't always the biggest or boldest job that matters most. The Panama Canal showed what America could achieve if we held steady and acted fast when the world dragged its feet. That said, I measure my greatest work by the lives improved. Parks set aside, food and drugs made safe, the square deal given to all, not just to a few. Still, when I stood in the mud watching those steam shovels, Knowing ships would pass through, changing the world's map forever, I felt I'd left a mark that would last.
Okay, you did. Thank you.
Every day a president faces storms most people never see. Keep your nerve and remember the nation comes first, you get through. I know you know that feeling yourself.
Well, I appreciate those words. Those words are fantastic. And I just want to say it's an honor to be with you today. We are making a little bit of a tour, some of the fantastic things you've done.
This is Theodore Roosevelt's actual Medal of Honor, presenting it to the museum.
Well, thank you very much. That was in the Roosevelt Room for many, many years. And when I heard about this, I said, maybe we'll think about it. Then I saw what you did and what a magnificent library you built. It's really a library, it's a museum, it's a center, and it's a great tribute. And I said, let's take it from the Roosevelt Room, which is a very important room in the White House. I use it all the time. I'll be a little bit lonely in there without it. But I thought this would be a really an appropriate place to have it.
In the latest update on the situation in Venezuela, after 2 severe earthquakes last week, the death toll has risen to an estimated 1,719 people, with over 68,000 individuals unaccounted for. Search and rescue teams are racing against time in affected regions, where infrastructure damage has been catastrophic. Amid the Euros, who has been working around the clock to save lives, is a border collie rescue dog, Tsunami. The furry 4-legged Euro, who was deployed to the earthquake zone to assist with reports confirming that he helped locate at least 13 survivors trapped under rubble. What started out as a story of an abandoned puppy has now turned into a legacy of a Euro who saved over 100 lives during his mission. And now let's take a recap of today's headlines. The US and Israel sign a historic land deal for permanent Jerusalem embassy, cementing enduring alliance.
Today here in Jerusalem, we mark another milestone in the unbreakable alliance between Israel and the United States.
Russian gymnasts withdraw from World Cup over discriminatory flag and anthem ban. Kremlin confirms strategic fuel talks as Peskov vows Ukrainian sabotage will fail.
In fact, Novak handles these issues on a daily basis, working closely and manually managing the process. Both the president's and Novak's daily meetings focus on a range of measures to stabilize the fuel market.
Lego faces backlash over LGBTQ promotion, accused of undermining family values. I'm Melissa Negrini reporting for the LN Networks.